Hi. I was thinking about something today, which is this idea of radical and how much this idea of radical and um, the feeling of radical, like somehow this is just outside of commonplace. Radical authenticity, radical compassion. It's like, it really seems to emphasize the doer within making these things happen. We're radically compassionate. We're doing compassion here. And although I'm sure that's not the full extent of the message, I find that just to re-emphasize something like radical sincerity and radical understanding is something that's just, quite frankly, innate to our being, innate to the self that desires to know oneself. And so maybe for those who aren't necessarily wired for self-investigation, there's a certain overlaying of consciousness that makes sense to do compassion or do truth-telling. But at the end of the day, really deeply, sincerely, it's all about our own sincerity and transparency unto ourselves. As our own consciousness changes, what we see, how we respond, it also changes. And these radical parts of self-seeing or self-investigating, it certainly might seem on some level bold, but it's the natural allowing of ourselves to be seen and to be known, and the okayness without the judge, without the one that says you can't learn, and learning comes with a cost or a price, and that there should be consequences for you misstepping. And then our added layer of protecting ourselves from that judge inside of ourselves. But when we see ourselves as children, in the best sense, that there's an innocence that's there, that there's an allowing ourselves to see that we created a story, that we made that story come to life, that story impacted other people, but mostly it impacted ourselves, and that we really care about that impact to ourselves and the light within us and the love that we are. As maybe at this point we understand that the opening and the closing of our consciousness, the self-protective structures that we have in place, sometimes those can take a bit of time to feel safe and come back open again. So, maybe we become more attentive to the subtleties that cause us the closing, and we pay more attention to our own opening inside of us. And when we notice ourselves closing and we get honest with that, the simplicity of our own self-awareness and the love that is present there, that really loves us in a way that the mind can't necessarily and logically understand. And it's certainly unlike the fragmentation that society would teach us on incomplete love, calling it complete. But our own ability to find sincerity with our own truth and our own stories, whether or not we can lay them at the feet of other people, let them into our world or not, that's another step, and I think an important step as well for completion and for repair. But really seeing ourselves, allowing ourselves to be. And just like any person that we know that we would feel good around, we notice that the feeling good often comes with less judgment, more acceptance, so that we don't have these deeper protective measures that are happening. So my question would just be, how do we do that for ourselves? How do we become and stay a safe place for ourselves to come home and to stay? All right, so some morning musings. Thank you for being with me.